20 degrees centigrade on the lake at Banyoles, which is serene and inviting. The lane's number with 1 nearest to the camera. That's the United States. Here in lane 2, China. 3, Great Britain. Blue tops, familiar colours. There are the Canadians. The winners of this heat go direct to the final. Reminder that Great Britain are in the white boat in the middle of the race. They are in lane 3. United States nearest to us in 1. Those are the Canadians out in lane 5. Romania inside them in 4. Great Britain in the centre in 3. China in 2. And the United States in 1. And a comment now from Chris Bailey.
Yes, and the pace in this race is almost certainly going to be on the outsides, with the Canadians racing it out for the United States for this place in the final. The danger for the British interest is that they're left behind in the centre. Being drawn in the middle is actually often an advantage because you can see what's going on either side of the race, but they mustn't fall behind in the early stages.
And it's China who have made the early pace in lane 2, and Canada on the far side in 5. United States nearest to us. You just see the 1 on the bow of the American boat, and Great Britain also in a white boat slipping out of the picture. It's at the moment between China in lane 2 and Canada in lane 5. The Canadian world champions, very fast time in the final in Vienna last year, and those 4 girls were also in the Canadian 8 that won gold medals in Vienna in that event. So this is a very tough heat. The 500-meter mark, China just from Canada just from China. Great Britain back in 5th and about a length behind the leaders.
So the psychology of these early heats really is for one crew to try and get right out in front, and I think the Canadians are really going to want to achieve this because they're rowing again in the 8s tomorrow, and they're going to want the minimum number of races to take them through. Obviously from the American and Chinese viewpoint, they want to stop them doing so, but they're probably not going to row the full distance just to prove the point. But at the moment it's very much neck and neck. They're on lane 5, the Canadian crew, and nearest the camera lane 2, the Chinese crew. So nothing to choose between them, just about 3 feet.
Good race developing in what is a relatively new event. The women's 4 was a coxed race until the World Championships of 1989. So this is the first time we've had coxless 4s for women in the Olympic Games.
It makes a great deal more sense to have them coxless. It was a historical aberration that the women's event carried the cox, the extra weight, and now it shows that they can row every bit as efficiently coxless as they did coxed.
As the Chinese forge ahead, the Americans still in touch. China have kept together the crew that finished 4th in last year's World Championships. And at halfway it is still very tight. Canada by half a second from the United States now, who've pushed through in lane 1. Camera angle won't always be absolutely direct across the lake, and that means we have to be a little bit wary about reading the race until we are absolutely square with the bows of the leading boats.
Yes, it's still anybody's race here. The Canadians, with this highly talented group of 8 athletes who won 3 gold medals last year, are going to want to try and dominate the second half if they can. But the Romanians are still in there too. And the Chinese are probably the last example of the socialist system of rowing, where they've got a highly centralized, organized rowing system. And the Romanian system, which used to be very strong, has deteriorated a bit, but it'd be interesting to see how they perform during the Olympic regatta here, since all the changes.
Canadians have come here with hopes of several medals. They're always a strong rowing nation. Kirsten Barnes in the bow, Brenda Taylor, Jessica Monroe at 2 and 3, Jenny Dowie, the stroke girl. Double world champions in Vienna last year. They're out in lane 5 with 500 meters to go, maintaining their lead. Now nearly a second over China, who've moved past the United States, who are in 3. But bearing in mind that only the winners go direct to the final, we've got perhaps a better race than we might have expected, Chris.
I think so. It's quite clear that there are 3 boats, or even 4 boats in this race, who wanted that place in the final and were prepared to make a real go for it. And they're all aware that the Canadians have got more to lose by being pushed through the repechage system. So they're all going to have a go, I think, right to the line.
Canada out in lane 5, that's at the top of your picture. There they are now. World champions leading the way home.
Remarkably good clean rowing. They're not particularly large, these women here, but they do row terribly well, very well together.
And the Canadians using the new large blades, which have been a topic of much conversation and discussion among the competitors. They have almost every crew come here equipped with the orthodox blades and the new ones, and they're all looking over their shoulders wondering what the opposition are going to do. Well, looks as though it's going to bring the Canadians home in first place here, and they will now not need to race again before the final. Great Britain lagging some 5 lengths behind the field as Canada come home first from the United States, and Romania, China in 4th. That's the order as they cross the line. Britain well out of it, I'm afraid.